Are you in Harry Potter mood? Of course. Always. Hey guys! Once again, this idea for a video was brought to you by my friend Lauren. Isn't she a genius? As you can tell from the title, I am going to be talking about my 9 3/4, oh my gosh, Harry Potter moments. Harry Potter is one of those series I've read multiple times, never get tired of. I've watched the movies multiple times, never get tired of. But it's actually been like a year or two since I've read them, so I feel a little bit rusty. I would actually like to be rereading them right now, but they are currently in a box in the basement somewhere and have not been unpacked since we've moved into this house. These are things that just stood out to me like, oh my gosh, the first time I read it or watched the movies. I actually saw some of the movies before I read the books, so I was kind of halfway. I was late to the train to Hogwarts, I know this. Nevertheless, I hopped on and I haven't gotten off since. There will be major spoilers. Basically, I will be explaining part of the major plots in the series. If that will upset you, I'm sorry, don't watch the video then. These are in no particular order. I tried to put them in order, but it doesn't really make any chronological sense because the thoughts that came to my mind didn't really come in any chronological order. And I also want to say that I could probably make a whole, like, 10 other videos like this, and I may just do that. Anyway, enough delaying, here we go. Number 1, Hagrid's half-giant. I loved learning about Hagrid's backstory with his family. And when Grop came into the picture and we found out it was his half-brother, I thought that was really fascinating. Also learning the story about how he had to negotiate with the giant some, trying to get them on the good side with Dumbledore and trying to keep them from following Voldemort was just really fascinating to me, and I kind of wish it could have been touched on more in the movies, but I understand why it couldn't be. Number 2, Snape loves Lily. If you didn't know, Lily was Harry's mother who died, and Snape is one of Harry's professors who absolutely hates Harry. But at the end of the series, you find out that the reason Snape has treated Harry so badly this whole time is because he was in love with Harry's mother. While they were friends through part of school, Lily had to break her friendship with him because he was too attracted to the dark arts. Lily ended up marrying James, and James was a bully to Snape when they were children. In the 7th book, you find out that after all the time that has passed, Snape did everything he did to help Dumbledore, to help Harry, because he loved Lily. It's all very sad because of course he never got to have a good relationship with Lily after things happened, and he is part of the reason that Lily is dead. Number 3, Dudley's emotional growth. It doesn't really show much until the 7th film when Harry and Dudley are saying goodbye, but Dudley does grow as a character. Unlike Aunt Petunia and Vernon, he learns a little bit more about Harry and he feels a little bit more sympathetic towards what he's having to go through. Because if you remember, Dudley was attacked by the Dementors and he knows what that feels like now. He gets a glimpse into what Harry is about to face, and I think he does feel sorry for Harry. And I think in that moment you get some hope for Dudley, that he will grow up to be a better man than his father was. Number 4, Lupin and Tonks. Everything about Lupin and Tonks was a surprise to me. If you don't know, Lupin was a friend of Harry's father. And during Harry's years at Hogwarts, Lupin was one of his teachers. Lupin was bitten by a werewolf when he was young, so he is now a werewolf himself. Him and this witch Tonks fall in love, and they eventually get married and have a baby. Everything about their relationship was sweet because Lupin was very, very concerned about Tonks and what him being a werewolf would do to her and what him being a werewolf would do to their child. The sad thing is they never really get to know because Lupin and Tonks bravely fight in the war and die together. Harry was made the godson to Lupin and Tonks' child, and that, I think, is the best choice possible because who understands losing their parents more than Harry Potter? Number 5, Voldemort's backstory. I'm a sucker for a good backstory. I love knowing exactly what made the characters who they are. Particularly learning about how Tom was born. Tom is Voldemort, if you didn't know that. Anyway, Tom's mother was a witch. She came from a very abusive family, and she fell in love with a Muggle man. Anyway, this Muggle man, Tom, doesn't actually know about this witch lady much, and she ends up drugging him with a love potion, and they have a child. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is why they say that Voldemort cannot love, is because he was born out of a love potion. It's a very dark story if you think about it, and I think it really shows that the beginning of Voldemort's life was horrible. I love things like this because it really explains why characters act the way they do. Now we understand why Voldemort doesn't care about anyone, and why he hates Muggles so much, because his father was one. A father that wouldn't even want him. Number 6, Dumbledore's backstory. Dumbledore's backstory was a huge shock to me. Up until the point that you find out about exactly what happened in his life as a child, you really don't think of him as anything but perfect. And learning about things like the death of his sister and his quest for power, they really help show you that he wasn't always a perfect man. But you also learn that you can become someone great even after you've made mistakes. But yeah, just learning about all that, it just threw me for a loop the first time I read it. Number 7, Voldemort's Horcruxes. Quick rundown if you don't know what a Horcrux is. Basically, when Voldemort, or Tom, as you might call him, was in school, he started deciding that he wanted to be immortal. A way to achieve immortality is by creating what is called a Horcrux. To create one, you have to kill another person, which splits your soul, and that part of your soul can be placed into an object. So that way, if your body's harmed, that part of your soul is still intact. Voldemort, of course, takes this even further and wants to do this 7 times. He makes multiple Horcruxes by killing people and taking his soul and putting him in objects that mean something to him. This is why when Harry was a little boy and the curse backfired off of Harry, then Voldemort was killed. He wasn't fully killed because he had so many other parts of his soul still out there. This, of course, was a fascinating revolutionary to me when I was watching the movies, reading the books. I can't remember which order I found this out in. It explained so much. It explained why Voldemort was able to keep living on even though someone had killed him. And it also just showed how powerful he was because he wasn't going to be easily killed. Also explained why Voldemort looked the way he did, because he was literally splitting himself apart and apart and apart, and he was tearing himself into pieces, literally. He was no longer fully man. Number 8, no school for 7th year. I was excited and nervous when I saw that they were not going to be in school, as they traditionally were in every book, on their 7th year, which would traditionally be their last year of school. Harry had to go and find these Horcruxes and destroy them all, and he could not be in school and do that. And of course, Ron and Hermione, being the loyal friends they are, they went along with them. It was such a break from the normal, traditional thing that you were used to every year that I just was shocked that it happened. Number 9, Harry is a Horcrux. This obviously makes all the sense in the world, but up until the point it actually happened, I just didn't catch on. Once again, if you're not too familiar with the Harry Potter series, what happened was Voldemort, when he tried to kill Harry, a bit of Voldemort's soul went into Harry, making Harry Potter literally a Horcrux. Now, what does it mean that since he's a Horcrux? Yes, it means Harry has to be killed, because each part of Voldemort has to die in order for him to completely be gone. So Harry literally has to go and sacrifice himself to Voldemort so they can get rid of him. But luckily for us, that only kills the Voldemort part of him, and Harry gets to go back to life, basically, and go and defeat Voldemort himself. Now that's some clever writing there. And my 3/4. This is my 3/4 because it was so obvious to me, but when it happened, I was still overjoyed and shocked in the moment. We all hoped it would happen at some point, but we just weren't sure when. Oh yes, you know what I'm talking about. Ron and Hermione's kiss. I am a massive, massive, massive fan of Ron and Hermione. No one can change my mind. And when they finally openly showed their feelings for each other, I could feel myself overjoyed with happiness. Live on, Hermione, live on. Oh yeah, that's my list. Not by any means complete, it might not be perfect, I probably would have thought of different things on a different day, but this is what came to my mind today. As always, Hedwig and I hope you have a wonderful day. We won't let her know what happens. Anyway, God bless and peace out.